ਕੰਜ਼ਰਵੇਟਿਵ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੀ ਅੰਤਰਿਮ ਲੀਡਰ ਕੈਂਡਿਸ ਬਰਗਨ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਪੱਤਰਕਾਰਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਗਈ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਰੂਸ ਤੇ ਯੂਕਰੇਨ ਵਿਚਾਲੇ ਬਣੇ ਹੋਏ ਤਣਾਅਪੂਰਨ ਹਾਲਾਤਾਂ ਤੇ चिंता प्रगट की ते नाल ही उन्होंने यूक्रेन ते नो फ्लाई जोन का समर्थन करने की भी चर्चा की ते कैंडिस बर्गन वालों पार्टी की लीडरशिप की दौड़ ते भी गलबात की गई।
Although I will say this, I don't think anything should be off the table. I don't think NATO should take anything off the table. But what we called for, what I said in my comments when President Zelensky was speaking to Parliament, is that at a minimum, the humanitarian corridors should be protected. And obviously it's up to experts and others to talk about and decide what's the best way to protect those corridors. Is it by protecting the airspace? But our point is we don't believe Canada or the world should just be throwing up our hands and saying that there's nothing that we could do. So then they should be protected. There's precedent for humanitarian corridors in war zones to be protected. And I don't think that I'm the only one saying this. There are others that have said that it's something that should be discussed and that is doable. So what we're just suggesting is that talk about the idea and talk about how we can protect what they will or will not do to Putin. I just don't think that's the best strategy. So I do agree with James Bazan. I think that whether ideally Ukraine would be able to shoot them down themselves, but they need to be supplied with those missiles to be able to do that. So that would be obviously ideal, but if they can't, there's got to be other ways that NATO or other allies can help to protect women and children, especially who are trying to escape. But the world is changing so quickly, and in light of what's happening in Ukraine, I believe all parties would be able to get behind. At least I can tell you Conservatives very much support that. But, it doesn't help to just announce it and then not do anything. The Liberals are behind, I think, about $10 billion in the promises that they've made to fund our defense. And they haven't spent that. So it's one thing to make promises, it's another to do it. And we very much would support better spending, more spending for our men and women in uniform. Bring our caucus together, have a united caucus, and we are very strong and united. My goal is to ensure that Conservatives are proud to be conservative and that we are consistently conservative in how we approach policy and things that are happening. So I would say I hope that the candidates, they criticize each other's record, they criticize each other's policy. I think that's fair game. But I hope that they don't say bad things about each other. Just like Ronald Reagan said, it's not a good thing to say bad things about other members, and people who are thinking of buying Conservative memberships want to hear people's ideas. They want to hear what the candidates are going to be presenting. And so my encouragement to them is to stick to policy. Listen, I had many constituents actually in Ottawa. They wanted Justin Trudeau to listen to them. These are hardworking men and women who were tired of the overreach, the vaccine mandate overreach, which, by the way, continues with this government. All they wanted was the Prime Minister to listen to them. Instead, he divided, he wedged, and he stigmatized. I told them they needed to move the trucks. Obviously, they should not, and they moved the blockades that were at the border. We don't agree with any illegal activity, but listen,